Hey everyone, how y'all doing this weekend? Um, it is Sunday evening here in North Dakota. Yesterday was Saturday, opening day of turkey season here in North Dakota, and it's one of Lauren and I's favorite things to do together. Hunting in general is one of our favorite things to do together, but turkey hunting especially, because we just really like watching them and listening to them out there strutting and gobbling and everything else. But yesterday, when our alarm went off to go hunting, my allergies were rocking and I had a terrible headache and I couldn't go. I was not going to be very comfortable going, just miserable. But Lauren decided to still go on her own, and I got to say I'm really proud of Lauren. She's hunted her whole life, um, but mostly deer and whatever else. I will take a little bit of pride in saying that I taught her how to bow hunt, but she went out in this turkey hunt. She turkey hunted a little bit growing up too, but mostly started doing that after we met. But this was the first time that she's gone on a big game solo hunt successfully on her own. And this one was pretty much completely on her own. It was some places that we had hunted in the past, um, but all the scouting. I went out scouting one morning and that was it. And she'd been out scouting for turkeys 2 or 3 times in this area and had them all figured out, and went out there and knew exactly what she needed to do and wanted to do to be successful in that hunt. And it just kind of made me think about a few things. Like, she was texting me a little bit yesterday, and I was sitting at home miserable, and but I was watching some YouTube videos, and like, we watch all kinds of different people on YouTube, different things. But a couple of the folks that I kind of started watching lately are like Billy Moles. And if you don't know who he is, you can look him up on YouTube if you like watching hunting videos or whatever. But he's a guide in Alaska and a few other places, and he kind of shares his testimony and a few things as he's guiding. He's a most of the videos I've watched of his have been like Alaskan brown bear hunts, the big bears, and he's out there with his hunters for 10 to 21 days usually, and so he gets to spend that time pretty much just him and his hunter, maybe a few other, and he kind of witnesses to him the whole time, and I think that's really cool. Another one we've just started watching recently is Limitless Outdoors, and it's another real good one. They do a lot, mostly hunting trips, kind of all over the West and Alaska, but they also share their testimony and put a little bit of God's word into it, and how they connected with God while they were out on their trip, kind of like what Laura and I have started doing here. But anyways, so it kind of made me think, texting Lauren a little bit and hearing about her day and her being successful on her hunt and watching those YouTube videos, it made me think about stuff. It's like, how much do we sit around? Do we just sit around watching YouTube or doing whatever it is we're doing? In the back of our minds, it's like, man, I really wish I could do this, or I really wish I could go do that, or this, that, or the other. I wish I could be this person or be that person or whatever else. And we're just sitting there not doing anything. We're not doing anything to prepare ourselves for those moments when we have that opportunity to use the gifts and that God's given us. And it's also like, the Bible talks about God has a plan and a purpose for each and every one of us. We just got to be willing to accept it and stand up and take those little baby steps of faith and go out and do it. But that was kind of what I was thinking about. I was sitting, spent most of the day yesterday in the chair, with exception a little bit to go help some friends move. But most of the time I was just in the chair with my allergies rocking. But I was just thinking about that. It's like how God gives us all different unique talents, skills, and abilities that He had to use for His purpose, and those purposes that He has for us are also our deepest desires. We just have to be able to step out and do them and use them. If we all of us, yes, we do have humanly selfish desires, and sometimes we get that, sometimes we don't, but our true joy comes when we develop and find those desires that God, use the skills that God's given us, and our desires are in line with His desires for our lives, and we find that desire that He has for us. And so that was my victory moment this weekend. And so I hope to hear about y'all's victories.